Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to Jenny from the Chopping Block. Today, I'm so excited to introduce to you a new friend, Justin Terrell Crane. I actually met Justin last week, was it? A
Yes,
couple of
ma'am.
days ago on Erik Swanson's live, and Erik had suggested that,
Great guy.
yeah, I love Erik. I'm actually, oh shoot, I just realized oh no, I think it's a little later. Um, he suggested that we link up and Justin come on the podcast to share some of his story, and I'm grateful that he suggested that because it's been a pleasure getting to know you, and
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to dive in and share all that makes you great. So,
Ooh.
yeah, my
No
first,
pressure, no pressure.
well, I mean, we all have a unique gift to share with the world, and I just want to help shine light on what makes you special and great. So,
Oh, I
you know,
love that.
you shared with me a little bit before about some of the adversity that you have faced in your life, and I want to talk about that with everybody and just show like what that's taught you and how you overcame a lot of things in your life. So, do you want to maybe tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I don't have a problem with that. I've overcome. Do you want me to start from the bottom, or would you prefer that I start from, like where I'm at now?
It's completely up to you.
Okay. So you want me to talk about the adversity that I've overcome?
I would say, yeah, like because it's
That's
like
a lot to talk about.
there's a timeline, like you were born in San Antonio, Texas. You
Yes. And
had,
into poverty, by the way.
yeah, into poverty. You had a lot of hard, challenging things that you kind of worked through.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
each thing led
It,
to
it
something different.
it really started with my mom's adversity. My mom had to overcome so much adversity. It was just, I don't know. I don't even know how we survived it. She literally had to hunt for our food at one point in our lives, where we're eating frog legs, we're eating rabbits and squirrels and stuff and birds. And then she's like shooting with a gun because my dad got laid off or something from the oil fields back in the day. And that's when we were living in Oklahoma. And then she already had me and my sister. So I don't really know like much about her adversity, but I know that what I was born into was a life of adversity, and I kind of know that my mom had a hard time, because she had three kids at the time, and when she met my dad wasn't doing anything productive in his life, and he wasn't really trying to man up, and take care of his business like a good dad is supposed to. He was still lost in partying and stuff like that, and getting way too drunk. And my mom was just enduring, and she finally overcame. And that was that was the beginning for me. So at 4 years old, my mom let me stay with my dad. And she kept my sister and she kept my brothers with Jennifer and Josh.
I
And
didn't know you had a sister, Jennifer.
yeah, yeah, Jenny Ward.
Cute.
Yeah, she's a great woman as well. And so anyway, so I'm living with my dad, and my dad was kind of like, selling drugs and stuff like that, and he wasn't doing it the right way. And I was only 7. No, I was actually from 4 to 7, from for about 3 years. Like that's all that I seen was just like drug addicts coming in and out of the house getting served. Um and I know all I knew was that I had this undying love for my dad because I don't know, because he spent time with me, because he put in the time that was necessary in order for me to have that bond with him that was unbreakable. And I love him no matter what. And the way that he taught me is the only reason that I was able to survive life's real test, you know. And then let me see. We get raided when I was about 7 years old, and then that's when my mom took over, and she took me to California, and we were living in Benicia and Vallejo, and it was still like projects and stuff like that. It wasn't like middle class. It wasn't even like in between middle class and poverty. It was pretty low on the totem pole. And we stayed there for a little while, and then there was a major earthquake in '89, and that spooked my mom. The one where the bridges fell on each other.
Ooh.
Yeah, that my mom was actually supposed to be on that bridge, but turns out one of her friends saved her life. They saved her life because he calls her early in the morning and he says, well, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm about to go to work. He's like, how much do you make a day? And she said, $100. So I give you $200 plus you can keep the tips if you go man my bar. And because my bartender just walked out of my bar and left it wide open. So my mom actually took the day off on the day that the earthquake happened, when the Bay Bridge fell on each other and all those thousands of people were trapped in there.
Mm,
Yeah, that was divine intervention, literally.
mhm.
Like, so my mom had angels on her team, but that spooked her, and she was like, I'm we're out of here. We're out of here. We're going somewhere where there's less natural disasters. And that was actually during the World Series between the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants.
Mhm.
That was
I'm
crazy.
I'm a Yankee fan, but I love the San Francisco Giants.
But it was just odd that like both California teams were in the World Series and then there was a major earthquake. It
Mm,
was crazy. Like this, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. So I remember that very well. And living in that type of lifestyle, you kind of grow accustomed to living that way, you know. It's like you literally almost have no choice but to have to adapt to your surroundings. And what that's promoting in the lower levels of life is not a way to prosper when it comes to the eye of the public, or when it comes to wanting to be successful, or when it comes to wanting to be an entrepreneur, or wanting to be a business owner, or wanting to be something that'll give you self-worth, or give you, like, like I overcame feeling, you know.
mhm.
So um that was just like the scratching the surface of the adversity that I've already endured. um we come back to San Antonio. I'm just like a problematic child. I'm going to alternative middle school. I'm getting in trouble. I go to alternative school for persistent misbehavior. I'm hanging around with the wrong people. But my dad had instilled that crap into me. You know what I mean? It's basically like, this is how it's supposed to be lived. So when I was living with my dad, it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be the man, and I'm supposed to, serve these dope fiends and do stuff like that. Although I never sold drugs or anything like that. That was just like something I strayed from, because seeing my dad get raided when I was 7 years old, that was a bit traumatic. They literally kicked the door in, and I was behind the door, and had red beams blazing and all kinds of stuff. So let me see where I get back to San Antonio, problematic child, and I go to alternative school. My mom, she's just like, what? I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. You just, like, everything you do, you get in trouble. And she's trying to teach me good morals and good values and good manners and things of that nature. And, you know, I'd never realized how important it was. All I knew was, that's not me. Like, you got Josh wrapped up in that, my brother, and, you know, that's not me. This is me, because this is what I was taught, basically a rebel. It's like I have to go into school and I have to be the most influential guy, not a bully. I was never a bully, though. I was like the only guy. I was the only guy that was really like friends with the less, or the special needs kids and stuff like that. Not friends, but like I was, like, we didn't have a relationship or a friendship, but I was the type of person that would be like I would shake their hand. I wasn't appalled by them at all. Like, I was like, dang, man, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. That's what I felt within myself. So, because I was basically in the same shoes, because I'm going to school and I have duct tape around my not Air Force, my attack force from Payless, or my pro wings. And other kids, they're like judging me and stuff because they have polo boots on and Guess jeans and stuff. Keep in mind, I'm an 80s baby. Uh, so
Me too.
we're the best.
Mhm.
So, anyways, it seemed like things were getting better, because living at the Broadview apartments for probably about 8 years, 8 or 9 years, or something like that. Um, I just like focused on sports, like I would just go out
Mm.
every day and I would just sports, basketball, football, riding bikes, stuff like that, because we didn't have cell phones to occupy our time or keep us trapped in the AC. And that's one of the most important things for our kids is we want to grow them. And when you grow children, a lot of people seem to forget that the best way to grow things is by getting them a lot of water, getting them a lot of sunshine, and getting them fresh air, as well as wholesome, nutritious food. And that's how you grow them, along with love, of course. Like if you want it to be absolutely beautiful, then you put a lot of love into it as well. And that's why I like women. I love that women love to grow plants because, that's what we need to focus on is growing our babies, to be honest with you, and to prepare them for the tests and, just in case they run into some type of adversity that counsel of the wicked like pushes them into, you know what I mean? That's just my perspective.
No,
So
I agree. Definitely.
back to the adversity, I end up living in going back to live with my dad. And when I live with my dad, he's living in a motel apartment complex. He still hasn't got his act together. He still likes to, party. And now it's even progressed a little bit more because he's not just, smoking weed and drinking alcohol. Now all of a sudden he's progressed to cocaine. And I hate to dishonor him in any kind of way because I absolutely love him with my whole heart, and he's actually my angel. He's like
Mhm.
my right hand, and I love him. So uh,
Thank you for
he's
sharing
trapped.
this.
Yeah, it's no problem. It's good. It's gonna be it's gonna be necessary in order for me to serve a purpose. To be an inspiration to people who have gone through the same walks of life. So when like if you take somebody who's lived at their mama's house their whole life and they try to go out to the ghetto and try to teach somebody from the ghetto is going to see right through that, and they're going to be like, you don't know our walk, you haven't been in our shoes, they're going to have like all these I don't know exactly how to word that, but they're gonna have like all these like you can't feel us at all, so you don't understand. But me, I do understand because I've been there and I've endured it, and I've actually sweated the pressure situations that come in uh, the hood, and to be able to survive it will make me an inspiration because anybody who's going through it in this day and age, it's like, hey, if I did it, you can do it, you
Beautiful.
know,
Hmm.
because against all odds, somehow I made it. And really,
What
it all
what
comes.
advice would you give to somebody who's maybe going through similar things that you've
The,
worked through?
I would say to stay away from the temptations, like to do a better job of perceiving things, and most importantly, don't allow other people's to influence you into making bad decisions because those bad decisions are steps backwards. You want to take steps forwards, and when it comes to taking steps forward, you want to you want to think of you want to think business minded. You want to get knowledge and wisdom and understanding, and that's in all areas of life. Whether you want to run a business, you can't just say, hey, I want to run a business for a living. You have to go out and study, and you have to go out and get a better understanding of what it takes to sustain a business, and you have to learn key words, or if not, like get a capital investor or somebody who's going to invest the capital that's necessary in order to grow your business. And I mean, shoot, all that comes with a business plan, but they won't know how to make a business plan if they're coming from the ghetto. All they know is how to weigh out their weed and how to, that I'm making money non-taxed under the table, and that this is sustaining me. So they're getting a concept of business, but it's it's the risk. The risk is just way too much, because as soon as they get popped doing something foolish or something of that nature, it's like, good Lord, you're looking at 5 to 10 years of your life down the drain in the penitentiary, where you're only going to come out a smarter criminal
Hmm.
because they're in there, or you're either going to go in a smarter, you're either going to go in there and come out a smarter criminal, or you're going to come out with the, I don't ever want to go back, you know, so there's, oh, that's another part of my adversity as well. I didn't even get around to that. I'm sorry.
No,
But,
sorry. There's a lot, there's a lot to talk about.
oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
So, let me just get back to the adversity real quick, and then I'll touch base on that.
Good
Thinking
morning,
of,
Lindsay. Thanks for watching.
and so,
When you
I
said
go to the,
you learn a little bit through like hustling. Like I remember like, certain situations in my life. And then also like I love Pitbull. He's big in the Tony Robbins community, and he always says like, it's kind of the same hustle. It's just like it's different,
It
obviously.
is. It teaches you the concept, but it doesn't teach you the fundamentals. It leaves out all the things that you need, like social skills and manners and values and morals and product knowledge and stuff like that. But you get a concept of it because, I mean, if you have dirt weed, nobody's going to buy it. If you have good product, everybody's going to come to you. If you're selling the good product, it's just something like that. It's just it's really that's nothing that you want to get involved with, but sometimes you have no choice but to resort to that in order to beat the oppression, because we live in a system that basically that's set up to oppress us. The system that we live under as Americans, it literally had the devil's hand in it when it was created, and it's already time for us to not only see that but perceive that and fix that, because the system should be to help us progress, to make sure that nobody's poor, to make sure that nobody has to endure that type of adversity or that type of those type of pressure situations. Because when the lower you get, the more pressure the situation is. So like if you're at mama's house, like the pressure situation could be getting a whooping or sitting in timeout. But the pressure situation in the hood, you can get murdered on an everyday basis, and like it's nothing, and that's out of this world. And that shouldn't even be. That's like the oppression. It builds that tension, that an animosity of like, I've never had nothing, like, and all of a sudden people have these attitudes. That's why people from the hood have an attitude, because it's like, man, I shouldn't have to be going through this, and you're over there and you're living good, and it turns into like a jealousy or an envy type thing. And we could actually resolve that. I believe we could resolve that. It's just a matter of time, and it's all in the works. So I mean, there's a lot of good people that are putting their money to good use. And so when it comes to the adversity, yeah, exactly what Lindsay said. There's so much abundance all around us. I mean, we have so much, especially in America. And so we have to start the process here in America. Of course, we want to take it worldwide and stuff, but really the best way to do is to lead by example, is to focus and concentrate all of our efforts towards our people that live in our nation, that we don't want to have that animosity or that bad intention or the demonic intentions, or we want to like build a safe place where you could be happy, where you don't have to be irritable or aggravated or easily agitated over the most foolish thing. Don't get me wrong, there's still going to be qualms, and there's still going to be all kinds of uh bickering, and his is better than mine, his is I like his house better, blah blah blah. But the thing is it's the system, it's the way that the system was set up that oppresses us. It keeps us down and out, or it's set up to keep us down and out with all these extra expenses that are really not even necessary, to be honest. And also it's like that all plays into capitalism. This is all my opinion, of course.
Can
So
you tell me a little bit about the your prosperity theory?
my prosperity theory. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. So there's two types of people. There's actually three types of people. But when it comes to prosperity, when it comes to making money, there's a big difference between somebody who sells out to live lavish, because lavish is like you don't have as much happiness when it comes to lavish. It's like you have everything in the world. Prosperity and lavish are the exact same concept. It's just two different ways of going about it. So you could perceive lavish as getting it from evil, like selling your soul to live a lavish lifestyle. uh that comes fast, and that has a whole bunch of bad things that entail, like the irritability and the aggravation and stuff like that. But if you prosper, you have to wait patiently to prosper. If you want to live lavish, you get that real fast. It happens in a blink of an eye. He has so many people in position of authority. He meaning, like, I guess you could say, the one who's promoting lavish. Let's put it that way. The one who promotes lavish is going to be the one that has a whole bunch of people in position of authority that can get you that lifestyle. And you're not going to be disciplined, and you're not going to be ready for the type of responsibilities that you have to take on. So you're going to run into stumbling block and snare and tricks and traps and all kinds of adversity. And then after over a period of time, you'll be able to see things for what they are, and you'll be able to walk around them, or you'll be able to simply go through them as if they weren't even there, because you've already have been through that, and the pressure
Mm-hmm.
situation won't be as pressure to you. Whereas to somebody who's going through it new, it's going to be a new walk of life for them. So they're going to sit there and they're going to run into that stumbling block, and they're going to hurt themselves and then fall down maybe, and, get back up and go, dang. And then probably have to hit it a couple of more times. Like, dang, like I should have known that. By the third time they done got hurt by the same adversity, living lavish, they'll know not to do that again. Somebody who prospers, it takes patience, and prosperity comes with a lot more happiness. And of course, this is just my theory.
I love
This is
this.
just things that I've come up with. So uh, it's kind of like a rebuttal. It's like, if they have the devil, then we have God. If they have evil, we have good. If they have demons, we have angels, and and so on and so forth. Even all the way to Jesus and Satan, or God and the devil. They have lavish. No, we don't need to envy lavish. We don't need to want lavish. We could get it through prosperity. And prosperity has a lot more happiness than anybody who's living lavish. Uh, it's just two different ways of perceiving, or it's perceiving the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Thank you for sharing that. I just love that analogy.
you're welcome. That's
And
I have so many theories.
I wanted to dive back into so you had a challenging upbringing, I would say, but you still learned a lot, and you had a great love for your family. Can you talk about how that back to school, where you developed kind of like what it meant to be like the guy at school, and then like what happened after that next stage of your life?
Well, going to school, as a less fortunate person, it's hard to gain popularity. Nobody wants to be hanging around with somebody who has duct tape on his attack force. They want to be around the guy with the red wings and the Guess jeans and the polo shirt, because I don't know, and the fresh haircut. Whereas I got like a matty haircut, and, we were just less fortunate. But we always had everything that we needed in order to get through that. All that stuff was just materialistic
You could say
things. I, I have to stop cussing though, because I don't want to be a bad
it. Okay.
influence to
Oh,
the young
God.
ones.
Got it.
I was like, I'm working on it so bad, but like growing from the weeds, it's almost impossible, because you grow accustomed to expressing yourself with a little more emphasis sometimes. And it's kind of like your mom saying, get in there and go do the dishes. Would you please go do the dishes? And you're just like set on not doing them. And then, you better get your ass up in there and go do the damn dishes. And I guarantee you get a move on and go do those dishes. That's just the
Yeah.
emphasis. The emphasis makes the point a lot stronger, but it's actually unnecessary. And it's a lot more pleasant to live without it, because it's a sign of aggravation, I guess you could say, or it's
Mhm.
like people just trying to get stress off.
Yeah.
So I respect that totally, but like I've got all my stress out, because I got saved and stuff like that. An angel, I had a good conversation with the angel. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's a big statement. I love it.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It saved my life. Made me cry. Made me cry the best cry I ever cried.
Can
But
you
that's
tell
that's
us
a
a little more about that conversation? You don't have to
uh-uh.
no. Okay.
I don't want to
Okay.
elaborate. I don't want to, because that's a long story, and not only is it a long story, it entails a whole bunch of my foolishness that I kind of don't want kids to think that's okay. I don't want them to think that it's okay
Like
to go
yeah,
out
make
there
it
and
glamorous.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Is it gonna be in your book?
Oh, absolutely,
Cool.
absolutely. It'll be in my book, because it's gonna play a key role. It's just a timing thing. You know what I mean? It's like I have to set myself up for success, so that way, because in this world, money talks. Money talks. So if you don't have money, it's kind of like, I'm not trying to be like you. Whoa, turn the light out on that one, huh?
That's all right.
We need to get that light back on. Money doesn't talk. Money doesn't talk. But in the eye of the public, money
So
talks, in
funny.
my opinion. So let's see, where was I going? I'll elaborate that with you later on, or we'll discuss that first, because I don't want to sit there and promote something that's gonna that's a destructive way of living.
Got you. Got you.
You know, it took me getting to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. You know, it's like, like, I'm tired of this. This is all crap. Like, I have nothing good to look forward to. And of course, I was still in adversity, and I ended up going. Ah, let's just not even.
Okay. Okay.
We'll save that for another podcast. How
I'm with
about you
you.
bring me on for another podcast, and I'll go I'll go all the way in for you.
I'm with you.
Um,
Okay.
so we'll just stick to adversity, and we'll stick to the adversity that I've overcome.
Resilience. Yeah.
Yeah, resilience. Yeah, being able
Mhm.
to overcome, and being able to go through this and go through this and go through this, and just never give up, and go through it and go through it and just never give up. That's that's what we need to. That's what the kids from my positions of adversity need to understand, is that you're gonna want to give up so many times, because everything just, I don't know, it's like the whole weight of the world is on your back, and then it seems like, it's something that you probably shouldn't get involved with. It's something that you should probably be scared to get involved with, and you don't realize that a greater one has your back.
Hmm.
And to see that a greater one has your back, like, you have to go to rock bottom almost, it seems, when it comes to where I've come from.
Hmm.
And I just happen to beat this. I just happen to beat the, I guess you could say, the advances.
So
And
aside from, having that faith and that protection from God, was there other things that helped you along the way? I know you mentioned TYC and a few other
oh
things
yes.
growing up. Maybe you could speak on that a little bit as well.
Sure. So at about 15, oh, well, first, let me get back to going. I went to go live with my dad, and I was in the motel apartment complex, right? And they were doing all kinds of things that I'd rather not disclose, or they were just lost in drugs. Actually, it doesn't matter if I disclosed. He's passed away, but I just don't want to dishonor him in any
Oh,
kind
I'm
of way.
sorry to hear that.
Uh,
I didn't
he's in
know
a
that.
way better place.
Oh.
Yeah, everything you see here on Earth, just imagine that to the 100th power,
Hmm.
because it's all treasures that we have to look forward to. Everything that we have here on Earth was made by men, women, and children. We started off with grass, dirt, water, air. You know, and look at what we have now. We could put 8 tons of metal in the sky and fly it from one nation to another.
Hmm.
That's technological advancements. That's awesome. But imagine if God was with us the whole time. Not that he isn't. Just imagine if he was with us in a sense to where we're creating something, like this phone, for instance. We're creating this phone. You don't have to worry about there being a iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, and iPhone 4, because it has better advance and better advance and better advance. Because God would have been there to say, you see this piece right here? If you put that piece right here, and then you take this piece right here and put that right there, that's the best phone that'll ever be. That's the best phone that you could ever make. And we're just like this far off, as humans. Uh, we're we're not far off, because I mean, look how far we've come, but we're so far off when it comes to how far we could have come.
Hmm.
And the reason for that is because counsel of the wicked and evil, and all this, I guess, getting down with the sickness, whatever you want to call it these days, is running rampant, and they're just running so much game on us. It's like you can't even let somebody that's evil, somebody who's already pledged allegiance to being a part of the sickness, or to being a part of Satan's scheme, I guess you could say. You can't even let them breathe on you. You can't even let them touch you. You can't even let them take a drink from your cup. There's so many different schemes that are set up to stop us from, to not stop us, but depreciate us. You know, it's like something that they have going on that we know nothing about because we're good-natured human beings. And if we didn't have counsel of the wicked, it would be such a better world, because it's not in our human nature to want to just kill somebody. It's not in our human nature. God didn't make us with that type of nature. You know what I mean? Like, it's in our nature to help somebody when we see them down. And now all of a sudden, like, evil's made it to where, like, don't touch him. He's disgusting. You don't know what he's done. Blah blah blah. Whereas if evil wasn't a part of the equation, it would be a no-brainer for us to try and help that person off the ground, especially if we have an abundance. You know, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're doing bad. Here, here's some money. I have extra. You know, it would be no problem. That's why philanthropy exists today, because that good nature, that evil can't stop it. The only thing is he knows he can't stop it, but he deters it as much as he can. So he throws in temptation, and he throws in all these other things that are going to try and keep us from being our best self. You know, he's going to try and take from us and take from us, and our souls sustain us. And what's in our heart, that sustains us. And that's what makes us beautiful, is because, you know, all that's perceived. But that's, again, that's my theory. That's not like facts or anything. In my world, it's facts. It's absolute facts. It's 100%. But for other people, I mean, I guess you have to go through adversity, or you have to go through the pressure situations in order to understand what's really going on. And those pressure situations could get a lot more emphasis when it comes to living in project housing, as opposed to living in La Cantera, which is, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure you get that. You understand that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, you have like your, in New York, y'all have like your slums, and then y'all have y'all's suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a better way to put it. So the pressure situations in the slums are, whew, they can escalate so fast, and they could just, next thing you know, you have a knife to your throat, or a gun to your head, or bullets whizzing by you, just like, it's like, wow, it's crazy. And I've had that happen to me as well. I had a knife to my throat over a bad crack deal, because my dad gave me a 20 rock to go walk down Austin Highway to serve to one of these dope fiends, right? So I take it down there. I'm 15, mind you. I don't know any better. This is like what I was taught. So I was taught that this was okay. So I walked all the way down Austin Highway in San Antonio, Texas, served this dope fiend a rock, and my dad had pinched off of that rock, and that dope fiend. I say dope fiend. That's terrible terminology. I served this guy that's lost in a terrible way, in a destructive way, and he while I'm giving him the dub, is what they call it, a 20 rock. I'm giving him his dub. He's not happy with that, and he's expressing that, but he knows that I'm just a 15-year-old kid. And out of nowhere, his friend just behind me, and he's got a knife to my throat all of a sudden. He's like, "What would you do if I killed you?" And I was like, damn, I never thought about something like this. So I said, the only thing that could come to my mind was, my dad will come back and murder you. And so his friend was like, "Man, leave the fucking kid alone, daughter. Give me a rock. Here's your $20." And he sent me on my way. So I went back, and I didn't tell my dad, because I knew my dad would go murder that dude. And I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
lose my dad again, because I had already lost him when I was 7, uh, when he went to the penitentiary, when we got raided. So that was crazy. That was just crazy. And then
Sorry that happened to you.
uh it was, it makes me an inspiration to people who have gone through the same thing, because if I
Mm-hmm.
made it,
Mm-hmm.
even after going through that, they can make it.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't sell out. Just keep it real. That's the
Mm-hmm.
best way to put it. It's like, you have two options. You could keep it real, or you could sell out. You're not selling us out. So let me put it to you this way. Um, let's just say there's God and there's the devil. That's for the, like, non-believers and stuff like that. So that way, let's just say, for instance, there's a good and there's an evil, there's a God and the devil, right? And the way I perceive it from my experiences in life, it's like this. It's like, people with a soul mean a lot more to the world than people who sell out. But people who sell out are convinced that selling their soul for that lavish lifestyle, or for that bling bling, or for that, you know, whatever they sell their soul for, to come back.
Materialistic stuff you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, because that's basically that's the game that the devil runs. The game that the devil runs on us is, it's like, you could live lavish, bling bling, money ain't a thing, and you get a little reflection off the watch. You could have, you know what I mean, and you get like cats with like like, I don't know. I guess they're controlled by the evil one. I guess, I don't know. But as soon as you start thinking something good about Jesus, that cat wants to turn on you. Wants to like dig his claws into you or something like that, or scare you. Yeah, it's out of this world.
You're a character.
If you only knew. I'm just saying.
Oh
I'm gonna
my
save this.
gosh.
I'm gonna save more souls than anybody on this earth. That's my goal, is to save more
Oh.
souls on it than anybody on this earth. And hopefully I come in second to Jesus. But that's all my theory. I'm not trying to push that on anybody. It's for y'all. We're already solidified. Like, we have plenty in heaven. Don't get me wrong. We don't want anybody to go. We don't want anybody to miss out on it. But the thing is, with the way the world's going, I mean, the devil has it wrapped around his finger, kind of, sort of, when it comes
Okay,
to.
I'm gonna cut you there. I don't want to talk more about that.
Yeah, let's shun that. Let's shun
Let's shun that. I want to talk more
that.
about like what I asked you originally about
Going to TYC.
like, yeah, or just like
Yeah.
different things that helped you along the way,
Yeah.
aside from God.
Okay, sure thing.
Mm-hmm.
So TYC, that was a great help. So I go into TYC and I go in there and I have this attitude and I'm real ghetto, and I got the Ebonics thing going and I've got this real hood language, and I go in there and I still have that, and I still have attitude. I still feel like I'm a beast because of all the things that I'm capable of. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned that I've been playing sports since I was 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But it started off with football and it progressed into basketball, and I just happened to be really good at it. So I had like a supreme confidence in myself. So anyways, I go into TYC and all of a sudden they start teaching me all these things that I never knew about. Like, you have to learn like 9 thinking errors, and they make you learn the whole list of thinking errors without looking at the list, like verbatim, in order to even get a chair. Otherwise you have to sit on the concrete. And the first one is deceiving, and the next one is like downplaying and then avoiding, and then you have like blaming, and then you have feeling special, overreacting. Those are like thinking errors. There's 9 thinking errors. I don't remember them all off the top of my head, although I should. But I do remember the first one, and I remember the whole definition that went with it. And that was deceiving. And their definition of it in TYC was deceiving, lying, telling only part of the story, stacking the facts on your side, leaving out important information, being vague or evasive, and or fronting. That was the whole definition. And you had to learn that one and then 9 more of them in order just to get a chair. And then you had to learn 52 group rules. And all of those were basically preparing me for, when it comes to the group rules, preparing me for the world. Like, when it comes to work, like being prompt, being on time, being, carrying yourself in a professional manner and things of that nature. And then it went even further in TYC, and they taught me about empathy. And empathy is like being able to put yourself in another person's shoes and understand what they're going through, right? So they teach you empathy and reasons as to why you don't hurt other people, because there's extended victims. So if you were to, if you were let's just say you were my girlfriend, and you caught me doing something that I shouldn't have been doing, or you went through my phone and you saw something, and you came back and you killed me. So you were just thinking about us. You weren't thinking about the whole picture. You weren't thinking about the fact that you took out a mother's son, a father's son, a sister's brother, a son's dad, or a daughter's dad. You weren't thinking that those are your extended victims. And that's the reason that you don't hurt people. And that's the reason that you don't steal from people, because you don't just cause physical pain. You could cause financial pain. You also cause financial pain to my mom and my grandma and whoever else funded my funeral, in that sense. So that was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because then all of a sudden I just like the light came on, and it was like, oh, okay. So from there on, it was like, I'm never hurting. I'm not out to hurt anybody. Don't get me wrong. I'll defend myself.
Mhm.
I'll defend myself very well too. But
How'd you find this organization, or like how did you come into
T Y
this space?
T
TYC. Yeah.
TYC is Texas Youth Commission. So Texas Youth Commission is prisons for kids. Because remember, I was being bad. My sister's boyfriend, we went to a bargains flea market in San Antonio, and he dared me, or he said, I bet you won't go in there and steal something. And I said, what? And he said, I bet you won't go steal a piece of gold. And I was gullible because I was a kid. I was 14, 15 at the time. And so I was like, after living with my dad, I'm the man. I could do whatever I want. Don't dare me. I could do whatever I want, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So I run in there and I ask him to let me see a Jesus piece, a pendant. He's like, he shows me, and I was like, how much does it weigh? And he's like, 7.1 grams. I was like, okay, cool. I've never felt 7.1 grams before. Can I see it? And he put it in my hand, and I shot out the door. Well, next thing you know, I got 5 Chinamen chasing me all down Bandera, and they caught me, and they gave me a whooping too. They were giving me an undercover whooping before the cops got there, and the cops got there and they charged me and stuff like that. And I ended up going to TYC under my mom's recommendation. My mom made a deal with the judge, and I didn't know that, and I didn't find that out. And I actually resented her a long time for doing that because I didn't understand that it was necessary in order for my growth.
Mhm.
She was doing it because I was lost in a bad way, and she was concerned, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so she sent me to Texas Youth Commission, and that's where uh, I learned a lot of important values. So in Texas Youth, well, I went to Marlin Orientation Assessment Unit, and you go there for about 90 days, and then they make you stand parade rest. Anytime girls are in the hall, you stand parade rest, and you face the wall, and you put your heads down. Line stops, heads drop. You have like 3 minutes to go to the restroom. Uh, you only get 8 sheets of toilet paper. What?
Damn.
Yeah, crazy. You gotta learn how to work that. But
Your character.
it's out of this world. It's out of this world. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if that was like legal. But back in those days, like a whole bunch of stuff went, like a whole bunch of bad things happened in TYC. But luckily I was never a part of that. And I also lucked up not having to go to state school, because then I would have probably came out a worse person, because everything that I learned or had learned up to that point would have been obsolete when you have to fight for your life. You're not
Mhm.
thinking
So
about all the
life
good
was
things.
happening for you to kind of lead you to the path. And I just want to be mindful of the time. We have about 20 more minutes. There's so much more to talk about.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about, like how, you know, you spent some time in prison after TYC, and then after that you rekindled that love and passion for sports, and um
Made a semi-professional basketball team.
yeah.
Yeah, that was an accomplishment, because I never thought that I would be capable of that, especially getting out. Let me give you the short version, because I'm giving you real long extended versions, and we only have 20 minutes, so I kind of want to max out on all your points. So went to TYC. That was 2.5 years. Got out. Just went to straight partying. Got in touch with my cousin. His name's Sam. He's a very influential character in my life. He Bless you.
Oh,
He
thank
has yeah, I'm not afraid to do that.
you.
So anyway, I get involved with him, and we kind of go off the deep end, like with drugs and stuff like that. And then, I just got to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. So I was like, I'm not going to kill myself, because the one time that I was going to kill myself, I was in Oakland with my dad, and he had took my stepmom's side over me. And I was like, he's never taken a woman's side or anybody's side over me ever in my life. And that was the first time he ever did it. So it kind of like pushed me to the point. And I had a pencil, and it was just like blinging. The pencil was just like blinging with the light on it, like the sharp point. And I was just thinking about sticking it in my neck. And my dad was on the bed, and there's no way he could see me whatsoever. And I was just like trying to like, you know, talk myself into it, or within myself. And out of nowhere, he's like, "That's the coward's way out, son." And there's no way he could see me. And I was like, "What?" And then I was crying. I was just crying by myself, like at the bottom of the bed. We're in a motel, and I had given up. And he told me that's the coward's way out, and I didn't raise no coward. And from then on, like, that's never been an option. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm not gonna shoot myself. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna go take a coward's way out. So I'm just gonna party myself to death. So I went off the deep end with like foolishness. Let's put it that way. And I got to the point where it was just like, like boom, boom. I was just doing crazy things, going on like 3-day binges and playing basketball, like trying to make my heart pop, but it just never happened. And eventually, like I said, I spoke with an angel, and that saved my life. That saved my life. That turned me all the way around. But the only thing is I still had consequences built up, and I was still making bad decisions because temptation, is temptation, and it's going to get all of us, especially when we're at our lowest, or more often than not when we're at our lowest. And so I ended up going to a party, getting drunk and stuff like that, and drinking and smoking weed and doing all kinds of stuff. And it came about 7:25 in the morning. This guy was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the back room with these two girls, but they don't want to do anything with y'all in the front. So could you take this dude home?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got him, man." And I had taken a Klonopin and I was drinking alcohol. And actually, I had taken 2.5 Klonopins. And I was let me see, what was that 2006? I was 25 years old at the time. And so I decided to drive him home. While I was driving, he passed out in the passenger seat, and I'm just like focusing, staying in between the lines, And he wakes up and he goes, exit here," and I'm in the fast lane. So instead of just taking the next exit, I try to make the cut, and when I did, I was in a 2005 Trailblazer, and I went right. When I went back left, it rolled over 3 times. We ended up in a covert. Well, next thing you know, I wake up in the hospital, and I have oranges on, and they're taking me to Bexar County Jail. So it turns out he's in a coma. Yeah, he's in a coma, and he was in a coma for like a month or something like that. I don't know, like 30 something days, and they were ready to just pull the plug on him, but his mama wouldn't let him do that. So the justice system was waiting for him to pass away so that they could give me intoxicated manslaughter. But since he snapped out of his coma, I got intoxicated assault. And I didn't have enough money. I couldn't afford an attorney, and I didn't have anybody to support me in my actions, and I didn't expect anybody to support me in my foolishness that was brought upon myself, with my own damn doing. So anyway, the judge comes at me and they want to give me aggravated time. Well, all the old school convicts in the jailhouse were like, "Don't sign for aggravated time, and don't sign for 3G offenses." And I was like, "Okay." So they go in and they offer me 8 years aggravated. I say no. They reset it. I come back after a year of this process. I finally signed for 7 non-ag and non-3G, which means on a 7-year sentence, you only have to serve 13 months. And so you serve 13 months on a 7-year sentence, and then you become eligible for parole. So if you're good, you can make parole. I already had 12 months racked up in the Bexar County, and I was getting that back time accrued. So I was looking at 1 month. So for 1 month, like basically that was a plea deal. Like I had an opportunity to go in for 1 month, go to TDC, get a number. TDC is Texas Department of Criminal and Justice. It's kind of like CDC or NYC, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what New York says, but I signed for the 7 non-ag, assuming that I would get out within a month. Well, hell, I go in there and I'm green, and man, I'm in there, and all I know is like I'm in the penitentiary now, and like any given day I could be killed, I could be murdered. White supremacist gangs are trying to like get me to join their gang, but I'm like, my mom's Hawaiian, my sister's Hispanic, my little baby brothers are half black. I'm not joining the white supremacist group.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's out of the question. They're like, "Oh, we'll overlook all that," and I was like, "No, no, thank you." And then like they just come at you with all kinds of questions, and you see child molesters getting the life beat out of them. Oh man, If anybody goes in there with that type of case, I guarantee they're not gonna make it. Like they send 3 black guys, 3 white guys, 3 Hispanic dudes into the cell with him, and they just go to town. And it's like 3 at a time. It's like 3, and all you hear is just screams. Oh, they're gonna kill me. Blah blah. It's an out of this world experience. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. So, be a law-abiding citizen. On that note. So anyway, get out of the penitentiary. That made me more of a man than I've ever been in my life. Before, I could be influenced very easily by foolishness. You know what I mean? Like somebody, hey man, let's go steal this car. Now, well, boy, I'll slap you. No, that's the most foolish thing I've ever heard all week. Get from around me. You know, you can no longer be in my presence with foolishness like that, because that's trash. I mean, that's foolish. That's a terrible way to live. And I understand that people in the ghetto have to resort to that sometimes in order to make to make ends meet. You know, or it's just, it can't be justified anymore. You know. Um,
So I remember you telling me how like you mastered the skill of basketball like in prison, and how you like you learned to use your left hand just as good as your right.
yeah, that's the
Um,
most important thing you could do in basketball.
yeah, and you told me like after you got out, you were a bit humbled. You had to take a job that wasn't as favorable, and um, aside from that, I just want to talk about like what basketball did for you and how that. I mean, I know that like getting into the basketball and playing semi-professional ball kind of led to some other things,
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
such as the charitable function for domestic violence and human trafficking that then led to that movie that you acted in. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience and how that all played out?
Yeah, sure. So I get out of the penitentiary. I was the only white guy playing with all the black guys in there, and it was, it was entertainment. And it was physical, and man, it was some fights. But my skills like kept getting better and better and better. And the next thing you know, I joined a ABA basketball team. It's a semi-professional basketball team here in San Antonio. It's called the San Antonio Texas Blaze. They changed their name to actually they were the San Antonio Texas Fuel when I was on their team, and then they turned they changed their name to the San Antonio Texas Blaze, and that's what they are now. So I played with them. They sent me to a bachelor's ball. We go to the bachelor's ball, and now all the proceeds were going towards bringing awareness towards domestic violence and human trafficking in Texas. So I was all for that, and I volunteered to go do that, and I ended up getting sold to a guy who owns a magazine. I believe his name's Mr. Weatherspoon. I just can't remember his first name, and he was awesome. And this lady, Nancy Oakley, she's seen me, and Nancy Oakley, she's a character. Let's put it that way. She gave me an opportunity. She was like, "Oh, I wanted to purchase you so bad, da 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 da, but I had already purchased 2 players before you, so I didn't have the capital to do so." And she says, "I want you to come work for me. Blah blah blah. Do you have this available? Do you have this date available?" And I was like, "Come work for you." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm doing a movie. I'm doing a movie. I want you to come work for a movie. I want you to come do a movie for me." And I said, "Well, sure." Sure, because like that's always been something that infatuated me, and it's also somebody who I've I really look up to, like Marky Mark or Mark Wahlberg. Like, love that. That's like that dude is awesome. And
Mhm.
people like Pierce Brosnan and stuff like that, because they have good hearts and they have
Mhm.
good intentions. And so I started like watching them, and I started like wanting to emulate them, and I saw how they carried themselves in the public eye. And I was like, oh, okay, so I need to, I need to get rid of these ebonics and stuff, and I need to just go ahead and refine my social skills and things of that nature. So basketball led to acting. Went and got me some IMDb credits, and I haven't been able to touch that up on IMDb, by the way. So don't judge me if you go in there and you see it and it's just like a blah. But I'll get around to it soon enough. um, what happened after the ABA?
And then you had a executive producing part Was that in South Texas Sting or was that in another movie?
That was in another movie. As an
Oh, the
executive
48
producer,
hour film project, right?
yes, ma'am. I joined a 48-hour film project with Behan Fermazi, and that was the first time I ever seen a car blown up on set. And boy, I was sold. I was sold after that. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I might want to start pursuing this. So I started like reaching out to people and stuff like through social media, and I started getting parts. And then I finally got my first paid acting gig, and that was all thanks to Eric Bernard. He gave me an opportunity to go in and work as a security guard. Ramon, that was my name in the deal, and I wasn't a security guard. I was like the right hand man of a goon, like basically a killer. And it was what was the name? It was Eric H.K. Bernard's adaptation of Stephen King's In the Death Room. Has a great trailer, but my part is like very, very weak. Like you don't even get to see me, but he paid me good money for that, and that was the first time I got paid, and I was just like, dang, this is awesome. I didn't hardly have to do anything, and I got paid all this money. So and all I was doing was just having fun, and that was just kind of like made me want more of that, I guess you could say. So I like the acting. That
What do
was
you
fun.
what do you like about acting?
What I like about acting, being able to go into character, being able to be perceived as this person that I'm not really, and being I just have like an ability to understand or to use the dialect that's necessary. Like if they want a ghetto person, I could get ghetto. If they want a professional, business oriented type person, I can definitely stand for that as well. If they want like a stoner type dude, I could do that as well. If they want somebody who has experience in like doing drugs or whatever, I've already been down that avenue as well. If they want a drunk, I can. If they want a country boy, I can do that. I can bring all kinds of different dialects to like kind of help me portray the type of person that they want. And I know that what they are doing is is the important thing. You know what I mean? Like there anytime a movie's made and anytime a movie is successful, there's some type of moral to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And the moral to the story is usually always going to show some type of light overcoming
Mm-hmm.
evil.
Mm-hmm.
No
Mm-hmm.
matter how you look at it, it's always going to be good overcoming evil. So yeah, I'm all for that. That's what I love about acting, is that it's about good prevailing, even though it's usually about good prevailing after enduring ungodly amounts of adversity, and that shows the resilience, and that'll also make me an inspiration too. Because if I was to go out and make it as an actor, good Lord, you know how many people would listen to me?
Mm-hmm.
I would save so many ghetto children because I've been there and I've done that. And I would be able to say, it's possible. Just be patient and just keep good things in your heart, and just trust the process. And if you want something, you try and figure out the attributes that surround that position, and the attributes that surround that position, pray for that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pray for that. So like if you want to be a NBA superstar, you need to think about, you need to ask for, because if God created the world, I mean, imagine what he could do just if we asked. So you want to pray for the attributes. You want to go like speed, quickness, agility, athleticism, in-depth perception, stamina, awareness, clutch, height, hops, arm strength, balance.
Speaking of all this, I have a few questions to close out the interview. I wanted to talk a little bit about the modeling that you've done. If you could just say a few things about that and maybe how that impacted your life.
Yeah, that was crazy. I can't believe I became a model. I was fresh out of prison. That was out of this world too. Mark Mark Anthony. Really everything that I've done in my life has been just like a wonder to me, because considering where I come from, I never would have thought that I would be where I am today. And I don't know. It's Yeah,
So
I'm
what was
thankful for it.
so Mark Anthony's brand was called Zombie Wear?
Yes. Mark Anthony was starting a line that was called Zombie Wear, and I don't even know how I got in touch. I got in touch with him, and I think I met him through the lady that does commercials for Ansira, which is something Primo, Myrna Primo, and we were both doing some modeling together with for his clothing line, and I don't know if it ever took off or anything like that, but I just know that it was an experience and that I had absolutely no experience whatsoever, and that kind of like, I don't know, it made me feel good. It made me like start like, worrying about my complexion and stuff like that, and start taking care of myself and start doing things that were necessary in order for me to try maybe advance in that. But I once that I touched my foot into acting, sheesh. I was like, yeah, I don't want modeling. But modeling's okay, It's, if it's for New York, heck yeah. If it's something in
Right.
California, heck yeah, I'm all for it, because then that's gonna pay the tab.
Got
But
it. So back to agility and all those superhero.
attributes, that's superhero. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So
The,
if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
oh my goodness. If I could have a superpower, what would it be? It would be to go back in time.
Mm,
Yeah, because I would change everything.
really?
Yeah, there'd be no evil. It'd be only good people. It'd be only humans. It'd be like, I'd segregate. I would make all the evil, like anybody who's soulless, be over on the left, and everybody with a soul on the right, and then we would
Don't
grow
you think
them.
people who are evil could be good?
Possibly. I mean, yes, of course they can. Of course they could be good. But the thing is once they've sold out, they're under.
Got it.
It's like the devil puts that. He just
Choke.
like locks, yeah, chokehold, puts the chokehold on them. Gives them a whiff of reality, puts that stench in their nostrils, and once that happens, it's like, whoa, you know, don't want to get involved with that.
Ah, it's scary.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so
It's scary.
let's talk about something happy. What's your favorite food and or recipe?
Favorite food. Oh man, my mom makes. You know what my favorite food is, but I don't. The thing is it's my favorite food in the whole world, but I'm gonna stop eating pork, and it's it's golly, chicken cordon bleu.
Whoa.
Yes, it's so good. But
With
I'm gonna
gravy or
have
without?
with what?
With gravy or without?
Whatever that cheese is in the middle. I'm not
Swiss?
absolutely. Huh?
I think
Is it
it's
Swiss or is it mozzarella? It's a white
or provolone. I think
provolone.
everybody makes it
Mhm.
different. I think we make it with Swiss.
I love provolone, but I'm gonna have to like switch out the ham for turkey.
Okay.
I don't know how that's gonna fare, but I've never had a turkey.
Chicken cordon bleu.
Yeah, I've never had a chicken. I mean,
So your mom makes that?
yes, she makes it so good, and she
Mm.
always tries to force pork on me, and I just, man, I'm just like, I feel like something told me, something just like came to me. It was like, I don't want you eating that, and I was like, what? I was like, are you like bacon and sausage and it's so good.
What does she usually serve on the side?
Oh, she serves the best. She serves broccolini, and she's great with squash. She's great with any kind of vegetables. So one of the most important things you could do in life is you could eat fresh fruits and vegetables off of the vine, not out of the grocery store, because in the grocery store they've been dead for like 2 weeks. You want to eat something that's flourishing with vitamins
Like
and minerals and
live
nutrition.
foods. Boom. I like your
Yeah,
style.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna build my mom a garden.
Aw.
Guarantee it. Like I've already started it. Like I've already got her some bell peppers and stuff, and I even went and dug her up and tilled for tomato patch, but she gave up on that idea. But I'm gonna have to reinstate it because it's
Awesome.
very necessary. Like you won't even need to take any kind of pills. Like after a certain period of time, like it's so good that a doctor can't recommend it to you.
You go to the
All they,
root.
huh?
Literally. Go into the roots.
Yes, exactly. It's like alive when you eat it. You know what I mean? So it's flourishing with like magnificence. Let's put it that way.
And then my last question is, I just want to know if there's anything else on your heart you want to share, maybe something that you worked through during this time that would help inspire the audience as well.
Oh yeah, COVID, man. COVID killed me financially. Oh my gosh. Because uh, I, as you well know, I'm a convicted felon and stuff like that, and that comes up like anytime you're gonna go for a job or something like that. It's something that they ask you, like, have you ever been convicted of a felony? And it's like, yes, I actually went to the penitentiary. And then on top of the fact that I'm 6'1" and I'm 221 pounds, um, that like most businesses see that as an issue, especially when they see intoxicated assault. And on top of that intoxicated assault, there was also an illegal weapons charge. Even though it wasn't my brass knuckles, it was my passenger's brass knuckles. They fell out of his pocket into the truck and they gave me the charge. So I was like, you know I just accept and move on. So I have an intoxicated assault to go with an illegal weapons charge. And it's brass knuckles, you know what I mean? But still, the fact remains that that's what they see,
It
you know?
sounds like you like were
Yeah,
drinking and beat somebody up with like a
yeah, it sounds like I went
like,
crazy, like
yeah.
I went on a drunken binge or something. It's very, very misleading, and a lot of people don't even look into it, and a lot of people don't even know what it is. Never even heard of it. Don't even know what an intoxicated assault is. That it's like when you crash in a vehicle and somebody gets hurt. So it's like it's the lesser of intoxicated manslaughter. It's like intoxicated manslaughter is the worst, and then intoxicated assault, and then just like public intoxication. So it's like a level of a thing. So I'm sorry, what was the question? My apologies.
If you have anything that further like that's on your heart that you've maybe worked through during this time, that would help inspire the audience.
Um,
Any words of wisdom, anything that's on your heart to share further.
it's a lot easier to see with the light on. A lot of us go through life and it's dark because nobody has the light on, or because everybody around us is blocking the light. But you just have to remember that no matter how cloudy it is, the sun's always back there and the moon's always behind those clouds. There's always a light. There's always a light. Even though it looks like there's not a light, no matter how weeded your situation is, no matter uh, what walk of life you're enduring or going through, um, there's a chance and there's an opportunity. Just don't sell out to the foolishness that's snatching up so many of our brothers and sisters. And it's, you know, if you can, do your best to turn the light on for others too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, of course, that's like me speaking in general, I guess you could say. I don't know. Or not speaking in general. I'm not sure how the heck. Sorry about that.
Well,
But
thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable and definitely inspiring us. And I just I honor you for all you've been through and worked through, and I can't wait to see what you do next, and all the beautiful things that are going to happen in your life.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your time as well. Thank you
Thank
very much.
you. All right, guys. Well, I'm actually going to be taking a little bit of time off this week. I'm crewing leadership with Tony Robbins, but I will be doing a live with Wen tomorrow. So hopefully you guys tune in for that. And until then, I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And Justin, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your
Thank
greatness.
you. Thank
Bye,
you. Thank you.
guys.
I
Ciao.
appreciate you. Y'all take care.